guys, Tessa here. Today I'm going to be working on Courtney and we are going to be doing some neck massage for pain relief and for stress relief as well. So to start, I'm actually going to go ahead and start with a little bit of scalp. Sometimes what can happen with neck tightness along the occipital ridge and the little occipital muscles is they will actually pull on the muscles in the forehead and around the ears. So if I notice that they're feeling like extra stressed, sometimes I'll just start with a little bit of scalp. And always just keeping in mind, like, keeping transitions somewhat smooth. And applying fairly firm pressure here. Just doing little circles. And you will actually feel areas of tension on the scalp, and you can spend a little longer in those areas. A little trick I've learned doing scalp massage is it's a lot easier if you rest your wrists on the massage table instead of having them floating. It's just a lot harder to get that pressure that feels really nice along the scalp. And also, when you're doing scalp massage, you want to be sure to not pull the hair. So if somebody has long, beautiful hair like Courtney, I will usually push the hair up a little bit so I'm not pulling as I move down the scalp. And again, just doing little circles. Just checking in, kind of seeing if Courtney's starting to settle into the massage a little bit more. Most people really like scalp. There's a few that don't, but it usually feels really good. And I'm starting to work my way into the temples a little bit more. If you have a client that has really bad headaches or tension headaches, this is a great area to work. And I'm actually just starting to hold. And I just do long pulses, kind of holding for maybe 5 seconds. Just a really nice way to help relieve some of that tension in the temple area. And just making sure that I'm not holding my breath as the person that's giving the massage. If you want to do something that's a little extra nurturing for your client or your friend, you can bring your 2 fingers above the ear and 1 below. And this just feels really nice and nurturing. It's also really nice to work the temple in a different kind of way, that upward motion. And I'm applying fairly firm pressure here, going back into the temples, doing little circles. And finally, with my thumbs, I'm going to go ahead and do a nice sweeping motion across the temples. people don't realize how much stress they can hold in this area. This is really nice work to start out with if you notice someone's feeling extra tense or stressed. And to transition, I was talking about smooth transitions. This is a nice way to work into the neck. So there's a lot of little muscles around the ear, and you can kind of work your way around the ear, starting to work towards the occipitals a little bit more. All right. And finally, I'm just going to go ahead and scoop Courtney's head up with my hands and working my way into the occipital ridge. And not starting out with max pressure, working my way up to more pressure. And I'm just doing little circles along the occipital ridge, paying attention to the occipital area, the suboccipital area. And just starting to listen to what's going on in Courtney's muscles a little bit more. Going into the right side a little bit deeper. And if you'll notice, I'm actually supporting Courtney's head with my left hand so that it's not moving around as I work this occipital area. So I'm not just pressing up, I'm pressing in, and that's kind of the key, is pressing up and in at the same time and doing little circles. And starting to apply a little bit more pressure in the areas that feel more tense. And yeah, just making sure that Courtney's head is supported with my opposite hand. I could do this where I just hold and do trigger point in here. It's a little intense, so I just find that it's kind of distracting to do little circles, and I think it feels really nice. And you can, just like how we got into the neck, you can kind of work your way back up around the ear before moving to the other side. Making sure that Courtney's head is supported with my right hand as I move into the left side, doing little circles. It's a lot easier to do this occipital work if you are coming in from this side instead of directly behind the head. It's just pretty exhausting if you don't move to the side. And again, making sure that Courtney's head is supported as I work the occipital ridge area on the left side. Spending a little bit more time on this side. There's a little more tension here. And sometimes you'll notice that just shifting the head like slightly will allow you to access the occipital muscles a little better. So just kind of listen to, your sixth sense, how things are feeling. And finally, working my way up around the ear. And it's kind of fun to just go back and forth. If I'm doing this occipital work, I like to just be mindful of what's going on in the temple because it's so connected. And I go back and forth if people have issues with headaches or even stress. It doesn't really look like I'm doing much. I'm just applying nice steady pressure in the temple area. And going in with my lotion now. I mean my oil. More often than not, I will start my neck work in this way. If somebody has chronic, issues with headaches, it's really nice to get into the occipital area first, because all the other muscles tend to follow a lot more easily if you start out with some occipital work. And this is a great way to work the suboccipitals a little more. So I am pushing up and towards me. Just sweeping my fingers, my hands up towards the base of Courtney's head. And if my focus is on the, muscles that can help with headaches, I spend a little bit more time with the sweeping motion because it's so healthy for the suboccipital area. And finally, I'm gonna make sure there's not a ton of oil on my hands so that I don't get Courtney's hair all oily. But I'm gonna go ahead and support Courtney's head with the opposite hand that I'm working with. And I'm gonna start just sweeping up. And I'm gonna start to turn Courtney's head just slightly. So if you want to work the deeper layers of tissue, I just find this is really effective for the base of the neck. For the upper part of the neck. And I'm gonna start to get into the scalene muscles a little bit more. To do that, I'm gonna actually use downward sweeping motions with my fingers. Down and up. My focus going down is more on the scalenes, and my focus going up is more on that upper trap just a little bit and the occipital, suboccipital area. And just be mindful of applying a little bit less pressure when you work your way down. This area can be really, really tender. But don't ignore this area. It definitely needs some love too. And working my way into the left side now. Working with Courtney's head just slightly turned. And again, just using nice upward sweeping motions to access the suboccipital. upper trap a little bit. And starting to work my way into the scalene muscles. Just nice, consistent pressure towards about the middle of the neck, and then going a little bit lighter, staying present and being mindful of how Courtney's muscles are responding. It's nice to combine the upward strokes with the downward ones. Find variety is always nice when you're doing neck massage. And my focus today is more on the suboccipital. I'm just spending a little more time with these upward sweeping motions. There's one spot in Courtney's neck that I'm just spending a little more time on. And working my way back up. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and just check in with both sides a little bit more, see how much progress we've made. What I'll do at this point, if a client is wanting more detailed work, I'll just really listen to each side, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of active release with my thumb, just on spots that I notice need a little more work. So I'm going to turn Courtney's head, and the key for this kind of work is going in at the right angle, so that you're not over working your own body. So I'm going to go in so that my thumb is as straight as possible and it's not like bent, because it's bad for me. So I'm going to go in here and do a little active release. If your client is feeling relaxed, this is really a nice way to work the neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do little no motions with Courtney's head. And I'm just going to work my way down a little bit deeper. My thumb, I never stay super long when I'm doing this kind of work, just because it's really intense and it's a little more taxing on my thumb. So doing active release, it's not only a distraction, but it's also just really effective work when you're wanting to work a little bit deeper. Just constantly paying attention to how the muscles are responding to the massage. And going in at an angle. And there's one spot on Courtney's neck over here that really needs this active release. So just applying nice, consistent pressure as I work my way down. And you definitely don't want to get too crazy with the head shaking, just really gentle. And just a little longer. Same thing, be really careful of applying too much pressure when you get just below about halfway down the neck. It's a fun little technique to explore and share with your clients or your friends. And I always like to just do this nice sweeping motion along both sides of the neck when I start and also when I end, just to balance everything out. And it's always nice to finish kind of how you started. So just working my way around the ears, kind of back up, and just a few moments with some scalp to finish this massage off. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Many of our subscribers don't see our videos. Make sure that you click the notification bell.
We have over 1,000 videos on Psychetruthpatrons.com, including our premium massage series, extended fashion haul modeling, ASMR massage and back tickling, behind the scenes, and more. Visit Psychetruthpatrons.com today. Our Patreon supporters also gain automatic access to Psychetruthpatrons.com with new exclusive videos each week and over 1,000 videos available now. Click the Patreon symbol in the middle of the screen.